No, absolutely. Because response time is definitely plays a significant role when, considering ourselves when we have a question or we're looking for an answer for something.
Yeah.
We tend to not want to wait. Right, we're very impatient. We're in such a fast-paced world these days that the minute the thought comes in, we want to find whatever it is and kind of move to the side and move on to the next thing. And considering with the leads, and I see it from time to time where you jump in, it's like, why didn't you respond to this person? Well,
Yeah.
they said this, and I'm like, and like they've taken the time to actually respond to you. It takes 2 seconds for you to reply back. Okay, no problem. Or whatever it is, right? It doesn't have to be anything significant, but just acknowledging that they took the time to be responsive to you, we should be doing the same back.
Yeah. I think there's so many variety of reasons why I've had such a good success rate at conversion. And again, it's about the proper business plan. It's creating the systems and the drips and all that stuff. I mean, you guys have heard me say this ad nausea, but going along with that system is also when the lead replies, I don't wait to reply back. And I've noticed, even as I've started sending out the liked 3 times email that we talked about in the last webinar. So when I get the notification from Agent Locator, they've liked a property 3 times, I've created an email that I send out manually because you have to do it manually. And it takes me 2 seconds on my phone. I don't even log it, like on my phone, I see it, I click go into this and I send it out.
Yeah.
As I send out, listen, I noticed that you liked it. I think it's a great property. Would you like to see it? People are answering me almost immediately back. And now I reply back to them. So now I've got a dialogue. So just using that email alone, I've now got 5 additional Agent Locator buyers in my car, probably a little quicker than just relying on my drip campaign, right? But I also know that had I not been replying right away, I would have lost them to somebody else. And I think I'd like to know how others feel about answering their leads right away. And I'd like to help everybody kind of get into a rhythm that there's nothing wrong to respond. And I see that Sabrina here has said, what if they're not asking any questions? Listen, if they simply reply to one of my emails and say, hey, Tara, thanks for the listings, you know what I do? I reply back right away and I'm like, hey, Joe, no problem at all. I hope you enjoy the site. That's what it's there for. Let me know when you're ready to take a look. So how do you feel about that?
I think, we'll wait to see if others, and you guys can raise your hand if you feel it's easier to talk about something, and then we'll give you the ability to talk. For sure, but it's even answering questions. So I can even tell a story from one of our clients here that gained a buyer lead that was transactional just from being responsive. They had already indicated that they were potentially going to be using another realtor, and she was like, that's fine, browse away, and he kept asking questions periodically, and she would answer like right away. Like whatever it was, doesn't matter, it'd be something about a property. Hey, do you know what this is? Or do you know what this is? And because she could in those moments, she was always very responsive with those answers. And she ended up winning over that client because of being that responsive, because their current agent or the one that they were potentially going to use just wasn't being responsive.
That has happened to me multiple times. When they ask me questions, I kind of, in all honesty, I assume they probably are kind of working with another realtor, or at the very minimum, they're talking to other people. They're not just talking to me, right? But I have had multiple buyers and sellers out of Agent Locator use me because I'm replying quicker than the other people that they thought they were working with. I have stood at the door with Agent Locator clients who have said to me, you were different than everybody else because you answered me right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Agent Locator has the ask a question form that they can fill out, get in touch form. Here at the brokerage, we have pay-per-click leads that our agents can be a part of if they so choose, or they can do it individually. So I get to see everybody's get in touch that's filled out. And the one thing that I'm always looking for is, as I get a copy of a get in touch, or I get my own get in touch, reply back right away, right? Reply back. And if I start seeing a lag in the reply back, and then those agents are saying, well, we haven't converted anything, there's your number one problem. So if you're not replying back, that allows the lead to have conversation with other realtors. So I don't care if you're at a family dinner. You know what I mean? And this is going to sound really horrible, and I'm not trying to be completely obsessive, but sometimes if I'm in the middle of something, I can at least reply back and say, listen, I'm with a client. I'll get you the info as soon as possible. Leave it with me. Right? So take advantage of that response time, because I do believe that is massive in regards to conversion. You go hand in hand. They're like this, a glove together. Yeah.
And then, like, as you said, even if you're not able to do something in the moment, but just acknowledging the request in the first place.
Yeah. So Tracy has said it's really up to the lead. Last week, one told me I needed to get a life. Oh my God, these leads, eh? When I said, oh, I have one, no worries. And another one went out the same day because we responded immediately. Tracy, I'm not saying that this is completely up to us. Remember, I'm always saying every lead has their own time. But what I am saying is, if there's a delay in responding or answering their inquiry, your chances of converting that lead are now less. Right? And I mean, some leads are there just, to waste our time for sure. But the bottom line is, we've paid for that lead. If the lead's there to waste the time, this is still my money. So you can be certain I'm going to work the lead. I don't throw my money away.
And it's so easy for them to find that listing online again, right? So they can take that property, punch it back into Google, pull up some other agent's website and call them. They're going to call until they get somebody, because if they want an immediate response, they're going to do whatever it takes to get an immediate response.
Yeah. So how's everybody else feeling about it? Do you find it's difficult to answer your leads within a timely fashion? And what do you think is a timely fashion? I'd love to throw some ideas together. I know what my timely fashion is, and I don't expect everybody else to meet that expectation because I'm different. But, do you think if a lead has filled out a get in touch form, do you think that answering within the first 30 minutes is good? Or do you think 24 hours is too late? I think together we can create plans of action, which will then help you guys convert at a higher rate. Do you notice anything on your end, Crystal, with other agents that have good conversion?
They're generally responsive to, they're working their databases, that's for sure. They don't leave any message unresponded to. They're typically in there, and regardless of the situation, right? Some individuals I've worked with that just like I grind and clench my jaw because their mindset and view on a lot of these leads is just completely out the window. They're more or less looking for the get rich quick approach. So, well, you got to have really deep pockets for that to be a thing in your life, right? Now, I imagine most of us don't have thousands of dollars to just throw away every month looking for those golden nuggets. Just want to go look at a house right away and easy peasy. But yes, I find that our clients that are converting the highest amount are responsive, and they're also, they're active in their system. They're using it. They're making sure that there's no lead unturned, right? It's, again, like you said, you're buying these leads, and then really at the end of the day, it's a database that you're building for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of individuals. And as long as you're working it and being responsive to them, that's where you're going to start to see everything kind of start together. And as you probably have noticed yourself, just by doing that, it's gradually over time, your conversion rates are just increasing, because you're getting a lot of those leads that may have registered day one that are finally in a position to make a move today, right? But because we've been responsive and we've been there and facilitating that process, they're more likely to turn to us when that time comes.
I agree. And I always have looked at lead conversion, especially through the Google pay-per-click leads, because they really don't know us at all. And we're basically gaining their trust via listings and our drip campaigns.
Yeah.
As you all know, a drip campaign is absolutely crucial to getting people in your car. Absolutely crucial. But I look at it as my way of building trust in them. And my other way of topping up that trust and really showing the true Terra realtor is my response time. So leads never have to wait 2 days to hear back about a certain property from me. They literally wait a matter of minutes. So what I've done in order to have that type of response time is I've learned to train myself to always be looking at my email and my lead notifications. I have it down to a system in my head. Oh, you know what? It's been about 30 minutes. Let me just open it up and check my re-login notifications. I know that when I get to a property and I'm showing a house, I go in, I show the house. When I get back to my car, I double check my lead notifications again to see if there's something in there that I need to reply to. And that's always been my way that I've trained myself to work the leads. And it really is going back to mindset, knowing that this is what I have to do to continue to build the trust in these people who know me from no one, right? I'm nobody when they go on begintosearch.com, right? They just want to see houses. And when I put myself in that type of mindset, Crystal and everybody, then I know what I have to do to operate this particular pillar of my business, right? That's how I work it. And that takes a lot of commitment for sure, but it goes back to, this is my money I'm spending. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm not going to throw it away. So I'm going to work it. I guess Sabrina, is this Sabrina that has said this? New glasses, still can't read.
Yeah, Sabrina.
Okay.
Yeah. So her campaign takes over, and that's why the campaigns are in place to answer right away. Then I follow up within 24 hours.
Good point. Follow up. So you respond back, but then you follow up again. Now, put yourself in their position. See, this causes me great excitement, Crystal. Put yourself in the lead's position. You know, maybe they are legit shopping right away for houses. When you've got a realtor that's there to answer all of your questions, you know, within a good, timely fashion, keep following up with you. Why wouldn't you use that realtor? I would, and I'm just a normal nobody. But when I walk into a store, I'm going to work with the person in a store that's not hounding me. don't come and approach me 20 times in the next 5 minutes, because now you've lost me. But if you're following up with me, I'm going to use you because I can see you working without harassing.
Well, exactly. Like if they're just pondering through the store and be like, oh, that's a cute shirt. Like, I like that one. Someone else bought it the other day and it looked amazing on them, right? They're not pressuring you into buying that shirt, but they're making sure that you know that they're there should you need to ask a question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a great point. Thank you for saying that you follow up again in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about using the tasks on each dashboard under each lead. It's hard to kind of remember everything, but if you utilize, hey, listen, she sent me an email yesterday, I want to follow up again and mark it as a task, you'll never forget.
Yeah.
Right. And that goes back as well, Crystal, to knowing agent locator system, which pot calling the kettle black, I don't know it near what I should. I completely recognize that. But when you get to know these little things, then this system can help do a lot of the reminders for you.
Yeah. And the one campaign, so the initial campaign that's currently going out, some of you guys may be on that campaign, some of you have different campaigns, but the one right now goes out, so the day 24 hours later after the first initial trying to talk to them, the second day, another text message goes out, even if you have talked to them, that says, just wanted to check in and make sure that you received the listings okay. Let me know if you want to make any further adjustments to your search criteria, right? So it's suitable for somebody that you haven't made contact with because you're just following up to see, hey, did you actually get the listings? But also as going back into that customer service to facilitate and say, hey, I'm just following up again to make sure you were able to get them okay. And then when you're talking to them, shoot them a text message right after because you're talking to them on the phone and you're getting information and maybe you updated that criteria. You get off the phone, update their criteria, send them off the listings and say, hey, great chatting with you today, Tara. Just wanted to let you know, I just sent you off the updated list of homes. Let me know what you think or if you need to make any further adjustments, right? So it's basically, following up on what you said you were going to do, but then again, going into that customer service and that responsiveness that, hey, I did what I said I was going to do and I just want to make sure you got it okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you brought that out because that's always been a really important thing that I've done right from when we talked about this 18 years ago, when I first started lead conversion with realtor.ca coming into the mix. I always felt, again, my whole rhythm of how I work is how do I feel when I'm being treated this way? That's just my motto. And I've directed everything I do with that line of thinking. So when I would send out listings to everybody, because back then we didn't have automated systems. We didn't. I mean, you literally, we were so lucky that we finally had with our MLS systems, the ability to actually send people listings. But I would always send an email that said, check your mail. I've just sent you, the listing. Yeah. So, showing these people how much we're working for them really does have a massive impact. And I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to be preachy. I'm saying that because this is my 1,000,000% experience. I'm getting these people because these people can see that I treat them with respect. I'm not harassing them. And I friggin' work hard. I'm there for when they need me. And that is the key, absolute $1 million key to conversion. So if I were to wait, if I were to go on holidays and come back and not be managing my email, I guarantee you I will have lost multiple leads because I haven't answered. And my leads are they literally email me all the time. My replies to my drip campaign are huge. The ask a question, get in touch forms are a lot. So I have to stay on top of it, right? I see that we've got a question here. Can you see that?
Yeah, it says, when you see in your email that your lead is active, you call them right away. Sometimes I have 6 or more that are active in one day.
Active meaning you've gotten a lead notification coming on saying the lead is active. That's what I'm assuming. No, I don't call them. But I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I want to have a fine line here, Crystal, because we have so many good people doing training at agent, the webinars that are fantastic on the phone. And gosh, I was just asked this again yesterday about the phone calls. I feel that you need to do what's best for you. Here, I started with a lot of phone calls. I did it for 12, 13 years straight. I noticed a change in how people were responding to me calling them as soon as they registered or anything like that. And honestly, it's only because of the robocalls. Our cell phones are being sold. We all know this, to every company under the sun. We get all kinds of calls. And I mean, I understand why people are hesitant with answering calls. I think if you're calling a lead as soon as you see them active, I think that could be a great thing. I also think it could be a negative thing. Is it too much? Are they feeling stalked? So what I would suggest is put yourself in their position and try it. And if you're not getting success, bring it back, right? The key to really great lead conversion in my entire years I've been doing this is I will try something. And if it's not working, I'm going to stop it and I'm going to rethink how I'm going to do it. So what we've started doing is, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Crystal. We started going, okay, let's try to call them, you know, within a day after they come in and just see if the temperature's changed at all. We had some success. We had a lot of no success. So then I went back to going, okay, let the listings every day, let the drip emails do their work. And let's introduce our voice now back again around day 30. So they've at least gotten 3 really nice emails and they've gotten the listings every day, plus the text messages that we send out. Now I've built some trust. Now they know who Tara is. And now we're finding they're back to being a little more responsive. That's the interesting thing. It's kind of trial and error.
And a lot of it's situational, right? So are these people that you've already talked to, or are these brand new leads we're talking about here, right? So if it's somebody that you've already talked to and again, this is going into your powerful notes and really getting those, you know, potential or approximate timelines. I don't have to give you exact times, but knowing whether they think they're going to be moving in the near future or distant future, because that's going to adjust if you're going to follow up with them, how you're approaching that, right? If you know they're not moving till next spring and they keep popping in active all the time, you know, you could check in, just say, hey, you know, just wanted to check in, say hi again. Maybe you feel like you don't need to, right? Because you already know, you've already revealed that they're not moving anytime soon anyway. Right. So we don't want to come across as being aggressive when we are doing it as, you know, just a simple check-in. And then, of course, the new leads, it's all, you know, it's like how you're typically doing is tracking those behaviors. You're keeping and you're monitoring how those viewings look. And if you're starting to see them coming back in more and more and more, then that's when you start to think about introducing your voice.
I do. And really, honestly, I feel like, the best way to kind of figure out your leads is to watch their relogin notifications. It tells me a lot about people. And I've said this before, you know, I can see somebody that's maybe only coming on the system maybe once or twice a week. If they change and they're now on daily, multiple times a day, I'm certainly going to introduce my voice to Bob a little sooner because something's changed. You know, even when I do that, this isn't a survey. I have always said this, I let the lead direct the call. I'm just making a call, just saying, hey, Bob, it's Tara calling from Begin to Search. I just wanted to thank you for coming on and looking at listings. I really appreciate it. If there's anything you need, I'm here. And then the lead will either say to me, yeah, actually, you know what, here's what I'm looking for. And they might tell me more. The lead also might say, listen, Tara, I really like your site. I'm good right now. I'm cool. I allow them to direct the phone call, but at least when I hang up, I now have said to myself, I've introduced my voice. There are a lot of times when I've made calls that these leads are like, oh, Tara, yeah. Like they're kind of happy, like, because they already feel they know me, right? And it's name going in your inbox every day that actually helps, as I said already a million times, build their trust in you. So never forget, the power isn't necessarily in the phone call. The power with conversion is the fact that we're sending them listings every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the lead is signing up. They want to see houses. So if you constantly just give them what they want, don't delete them just because they haven't answered you. You know, I've had people 4 years come on 4 years ago that have signed up that I have always kept on my system, that have eventually 4 years later done business with me. And if I had a nickel for every time these ones have said to me, you didn't delete me, everybody else did. And I'm like, well, I'm glad they did. You know, why am I going to delete somebody? I've already paid for the lead.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the same thing. Every lead has their own time. And now you guys can kind of see, as you've watched the webinars with me, this is an entire pillar. This is a whole system to our business. And don't give up, and don't be so quick to give up on these people. Because I have shown time and time again that multiple leads have worked with me 4 years, 6 years later. I am seeing more of the newer leads converting quicker. In the last year and a half, my main deals that I'm constantly doing with Agent Locator are definitely the newer, but don't forget about the older ones, right? Let's not delete, only when they ask us to.
Those older leads are usually your golden nuggets in there, right? Because it's a long process for us when we are considering a move. It's not an instant purchase. We're not going online, putting it in the cart and carrying on with our day. There's a lot that goes into it, right? And so it can take 6 to 24 months plus
or longer. Or longer. Sometimes they're tire kicking when they first come on, as we used to, us old people used to say, tire kickers. I don't know if they still say that now. And for sure, when a lot of these people logged onto the site way back 4, 6, 7 years ago, for sure they were probably tire kickers. The whole thing is their situation changed and now they needed to move. So for the last 6 years, the person in their inbox has been Tara Baylis. So I look at it this way, and I've been the one to respond if they've ever answered, right? It goes with your response time, is what we were talking about earlier. It all fits that perfect package. So I know that, I think Matt, is it Matt? Matt? Okay, has asked me my conversion rate. I don't give out numbers. I don't give out numbers. Crystal certainly has known my numbers for multiple years. Only because Agent Locator, when they first started, Agent Locator used to actually kind of ask you, hey, how are you doing? Can you give us some stats and so forth? So what I will say is this. The higher volume of leads, the better chance you have of higher conversion. So, it's a numbers game. It always will be too. But consistently throughout the years, I have done 70% of my business was Agent Locator, 75% of my business, 72%, and I'm naming off multiple years. Last year, 49% of my business was with Agent Locator clients. I have 4 pillars to my business. Agent Locator, as I call internet or leads, is pillar 1. I have my pillar for past clients. I have a pillar for sphere of influence. And my 4th pillar is always farming. My business contains every year, all of those pillars is what I get deals from. And I've been the number 1 broker, or not broker, but salesperson in my brokerage before. So I sell a lot. I sell a good number of houses. So sometimes my conversion rate, depending on how many leads I buy, can be 4%. Sometimes it can be between the 5 and the 7%. Does that help? I mean,
and it's compounding. It's compounding, you guys. So Tara's had her systems in place, and she follows those systems continuously. There's no breaks, there's no gaps. There's like, oh, I've fallen off the wagon for 6 months, I need to get back into it. It's constant, right? So when you're looking at an average lead conversion, generally speaking, your first year of your leads, you're generally looking at a 1 to 2% conversion rate. Now, if you keep it going and you're consistent in your system, the next year, you've also got a 1 to 2% conversion rate, plus a 1 to 2% conversion rate on the leads that registered the year before that weren't ready, right? So as long as you're continuously working, you're only going to see those conversion rates increase, but it takes dedication. It takes, it's not just going to land in your lap as much as we would, hope or dream that it was that easy and simple. It is simple in the fact that you just have to work it. That's it.
Yeah. And for those of you that maybe are new to the webinar today, go back and maybe view the recorded other sessions, because we talked a lot about mindset. And I started in this business in 1991 as a real estate assistant to some local realtors. When I say that mindset is everything, and we've talked about that in the other recordings, this is what has made me, I'll say successful. I think everybody has their own version of success, and I respect that. But what's made me successful is I know that this is my job. And I know I have to work my job, because there isn't this magical deal tree that I can stand under. And then, God has blessed me with more deals. If I'm going to make this happen, it falls on these shoulders. I've been a single mom. I've got 2 grown, beautiful children. Everybody knows Austin on there. Hi, Austin. Andrew, he just bought his first house, but it has been on my shoulders for 15 years. So if I'm going to make deals happen, then you're darn well right that I'm going to have the mindset to continue to work. So, it goes back to the fact that buying these leads are not cheap. It's not. So, having the mindset, knowing that if we're spending the money, then we've got to figure out a system for ourselves that's going to work so that we can get that return on our investment. Right? So I'm not saying you should do my way at all, but I am saying develop a way, a drip campaign, or take use of the drip campaigns that Agent Locator provides, and start creating your way with these leads and keep it going. The key to success is having the listings, knowing how to set them up the right way, having your drip campaign in a way that people will not feel harassed, but they will understand that you're there to help them, right? And respond right away, and have a system in place that you can work it without feeling overwhelmed. Because I think what happens to a lot of you is you don't work it, you neglect it, the leads are still coming in, you open up your dashboard and you don't know where to start, right? So we've got to create that system, a business plan for leads.
Just a daily habit.
Yep.
Right? Schedule a time block yourself if you have to.
Yeah.
Is what I say, the more scheduled you can manage to create your business, regardless, all pillars of it, right? Then you're going to find yourself with more time. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time today." I'm like, you had time. You chose to do other things.
Neither do I. But
you do it, right? It's like there's a lot of people that are like, I know. They'll say, "I don't have time to do this." And so just to put a little perspective on time, you guys, I work with Agent Locator from 6 to sometimes 5, so 6 a.m. my time, sometimes 5 p.m. my time. I also manage a restaurant 2 nights a week, Mondays. I also do some stuff in the mornings for them. I play baseball. I have 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a husband as well. So, and I still have time to do the things that I know I have to do, right? Because I'm making that time for those things. So it's monitoring, I think, for a lot of people of how you're spending your time. Sometimes we're not aware of how much time we're actually sitting and looking on our phone, right? That could have been time. Like, I think a lot of us are guilty of that. You don't realize it's very easy when you're sitting on your phone that all of a sudden an hour passes and you're like, whoa, right? There could have been something more productive being happened in that hour of time, but It's figuring out the balance though that works for you, right? So
and
everyone's different. Everyone's different, right?
Exactly. And listen, I mean, when I say I'm constantly working my leads, this doesn't mean that I, like right now I've got my laptop open, and I'm at my desk. Listen, people that know me know how much I love my Dateline, my 48 hours. And when I finally am able to get on my couch, I still have the ability to kind of open up my phone and check my relogin notifications. So I can be sitting on the couch, and y'all know I love my cider, having a cider, and still reply to an email.
Doing it.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm kind of, am I still working? Sure. But I'm in a relaxed setting, and I'm just checking
on your phone. Yeah.
Right. That does it. And when I do that, I feel better because I know then, because I've checked my notifications, I've answered somebody, and then I feel good. And I just carry on watching my true crime.
Sometimes it's
my cider.
Sometimes it's just training our brains, right? It's training our brains into new different habits that are only going to help us, right? So we all have habits. It's creating different habits for ourselves, and it'll just come naturally over time, where you just start to do these things just without even thinking about it. You just open up the phone and go do things like you don't even know what you're doing. It's like blind, it's when you're driving and all of a sudden you don't realize that you got there. We've all done that a little bit, right? We're like, how did I get here? I'm supposed to go this way. Why am I driving? Because you're just in like autopilot, right? Autopilot.
Yeah.
So
very true.
It's and it's just getting autopilot with real estate though, right? Autopilot.
I mean, I just look at it as that's just part of my job. And with the agent locator leads, I can't stress enough that if I'm going to spend the money on getting them, then I don't want to ever feel like I've wasted my money. As a realtor, we don't know when the next deal is coming in. And I certainly take this job very, very seriously. And I take my investment seriously. So for me to sit on the couch and to answer a lead is literally very easy to do. And it makes me feel like I'm still working on my return on investment.
Yeah.
And I think, starting out, with new ones starting out, and I don't know what the policy is at Agent Locator. If you've got a newer realtor coming into the business and now wanting pay-per-click leads, starting out with the minimum to get your feet wet, I think is phenomenal. Or if you've never done pay-per-click leads, if you want to start on the lower budget, which I think, Crystal, is it still around the 250 is the lower?
Yeah, like 250, but you can also do rentals as well, right? So for a lot of our newer agents, it gets them used to talking to people for one, right? The leads, and they're a lot cheaper, so you don't have to spend as much money. So as you're learning, you're not going to lose as much money. If you're still figuring things out for yourself, but there's still a lot of money. We have agents that make 10, 15 grand a month just off rentals. So it's just a matter of, do you want to put that work in with rentals? I know a lot of you guys don't, but they also turn into buyers. So they know buyer, you get, different pillars from them. And some people do rentals and buyers because the rental leads cover all their marketing costs. They do one transaction, boom, there's all my fees covered.
Paid for.
Right?
I think starting off slower with a lower volume is definitely good till you get your systems in place. And that's not going to happen overnight because, for me, even though I've been doing this for 18 years, the drip campaign that I currently have is definitely one that has been modified over the years, but some of it is my original, 18 years of stuff. That first email, other than a couple of lines modified, is the original Tara. So you continue to kind of modify them. Once you start getting into a rhythm where you now have your plan in place, and this is what you're doing regularly, then building up your volume, I think, is important on your, if you have the budget to do it. So when I've topped up my volume in leads, I always know that as soon as one has done a deal, I mean, it's now paid for my lead for the entire year or more,
Yeah,
right?
it's generally more. One transaction will typically cover.
Yeah. So that's how my brain sometimes will work. And I'll continue to kind of beef up the volume. And then once I get, and that's the wonderful thing about Agent Locator, is once I kind of now have a lot in there, you can kind of bring that volume down a little again. So it can be adjusted. So I definitely have found, starting out, when I was converting, even though I was on a low budget, I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, well, if I've done this, then I'm going to up it. Then sometimes I'll up it and I'll get quite a lot of leads. And then I'm finding not as many you're getting in the car. So I'll kind of pause it down a little bit, take it maybe $100 off the budget again, and just sort of start testing the waters even more. I like kind of playing with different areas as well. Sometimes I'll say, listen, let's incorporate this area. Let's see what the conversion is like if I kind of take it outside the box a little bit. And there's all these things kind of entwined that have enabled me to become very, very successful at this. Market makes a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Make a difference. I think right now we're dealing with a lot of people. Interest rates are going up again. Last I heard was July 13th. So we got to really understand that if our leads kind of seem to be slowing down or not responding, they might have to requalify. Right? Okay, so we've got, sorry, there's a couple more messages I think I've missed, Crystal.
Yeah, it's 4% conversion is great. The more spent in ads will get more leads and conversion will be higher. But after all, depends on your nurturing, follow-up, and approach. For sure.
Right. Yeah.
Who you are also as a person does have an impact. 100%. 100% it does. Right. So it's but it's just being yourself, right? Being a real person. That's it all comes down to. And we're not here to sell these people anything. We're here to facilitate and provide them the amazing customer service experience when it comes to this. And naturally, that will work in your favor when the time comes.
For sure. Sabrina, I think, has asked, did you notice that when the listings are archived, do they still, or in the lead, do they still get listings?
Yeah. So, when you archive them, no.
No, they don't, right?
No.
Yeah.
So the leads you archive should only be people where you cannot communicate with them. So you've got a bad phone number or a bad email or an opt-out email, meaning you cannot call or email that person. That's an archive lead. If you have some form of communication for them, leverage what you have. Right.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mary's wondering, in your videos or in your emails, do you put any kind of video content in there? You share kind of like a bomb type thing? I know you can do it. There's tons of different ways. You don't have to use bomb, but yeah.
We talk about this all the time. No, but part of me is like, should I? Should I? So I was just coaching another realtor yesterday. They're going to be incorporating some videos, asked me the same question. And I was like, I think you should throw them in. I think having a link to a video is an amazing way of getting those people attached to you. I also think I have yet to really do this on my drip, but this is just strictly because of lack of time and I've got to go back in and edit. I think having them have the ability to follow you on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, Twitter, I think is an amazing way to continue to have the lead see that you're a real person and you're an active realtor and you sell houses. So if you want to do the video, I'm all for it. All for it. I would love to hear the responses you get if you do incorporate videos in your drip campaign, because this is why we're doing this. We can all learn from each other.
Have you asked Ross? Because I know he was doing that before.
No, not recently. I haven't. No. I will ask him.
Because I know he was doing it before. He has a very generalized one. Like, it's just like a thank you. Like, we're here to help kind of thing, right?
Perfect.
So that's all it is. And it's putting a face to it. Like, You're an actual person.
I don't think it should be in every email, but
No.
an email to introduce yourself. And I think you can, I'm always been a type of person that's a little bit outside the box. So, I think if you were to do, this is my personal opinion. If you were to do, oh, here's my record, here's, how many houses I've sold, I think you're going to lose the person. But I think if you do something very natural, very quirky, I think you are going to see the return on your investment 10 times over. I really do. She's got, Sabrina has a welcome video. Beautiful. And how is that? How do you find that?
Sabrina, have you gone on YouTube to see how many people have watched that video?
Yeah.
It's YouTube, because that's something too. How many people are actually clicking on it, right? So that
love it.
Yeah, we create them a GIF. So you have that GIF and then you link the GIF. So kind of like a bomb.
Yeah.
And then it also works good, you guys, to create GIFs in an email if you're including something that you want them to engage in, right? So sometimes adding a little bit of animation in there, people are more likely to click. You'll see your click rate increase just by having moving objects. Believe it or not. Believe it or not.
Is that kind of like squirrel? Right?
So yeah. So Sabrina, your welcome campaign, so that video is not actually in the email, it's a GIF. It links to your YouTube channel. So that video would actually be on your YouTube channel. Because you can never send an actual video in an email, regardless of what platform you're using.
It'll always be linked. Okay.
It's always linked, yeah.
That would be an interesting.
Yeah. So it'll be in there. I can actually, I can try to.
Yeah, let us know.
Tina, you're asking the difference between archive and delete. There is no delete option for you. It's all archive. So we never have ever actually fully deleted a lead here with Agent Locator. So if you guys were hitting in the past, delete your lead, it was never gone. It was there. And you just couldn't see it. We had to restore that lead for you. And so what we were finding is people were inappropriately, or I don't know if that's the word, not the right word, but wrongfully deleting people when they shouldn't have, right? And then all of a sudden that person becomes active, looking at listings, and they're crying to us, they can't find the lead, they can't find the lead. Well, you deleted it, right? So here's why you don't delete your leads, because they could come back to life. So now they're just archived. So archived leads are they're still in your dashboard. They're just not there. You can't see them. They're kind of hiding behind the surface. So you just have to use the filter for pipelines, and you filter out pipelines and then your archived leads. And then everyone that you've archived is going to be showing there. And even the leads that you had previously deleted or marked as garbage are going to be in there. But they do stop receiving listings. Yeah, so that's why you don't want to archive leads that have good emails, that's for sure, because you just shot yourself in the foot. You closed that door now. You closed it.
Okay. So they can be restored back if worst case scenario, right?
Yes, okay. Absolutely. You can always bring them back.
Perfect. So Mario has said he has newer leads. The phone numbers are not in service. Should I archive? I'll handle this. Are the emails working? Because we don't want to archive or delete anybody just because the phone number's bad, right? A lot of people are smart. They input, invalid numbers, but you can get those people in the car with a valid email. So I never doesn't matter to me if the number shows invalid. It doesn't matter, because I get people coming and working with me based on my drip campaign, my emails to them. So always check the email. If the email shows as invalid, make sure that they haven't made a typo, because I've seen that multiple times where somebody has spelled Hotmail wrong or Gmail wrong, or they've put CA instead of .com. But yeah, I would just continue to work them email for sure. It seems like they have not opened any of my emails yet. Okay. All of your leads? Or is it just one Mario that you're referring to? And not everybody opens the emails, right? Crystal, what is Agent Locator's protocol with some of the emails going into spam?
So we have a 99% positive spam rating, just so you guys know. So the majority of your emails are likely going into their inbox. Now, where that can change is actually not on our end, but on the end of like Google, Hotmail, things like companies like that, where they start to recognize that if they stop opening emails, or if you stop opening emails, they start to decide for you that you don't want to look at this all the time. So they move it either into your promotions, your spam folder, whatever, even though it's not considered spam. We have now changed the rules in how some of the listings go out. So to prevent that, to encourage, even far less number of those emails going into spam, what we've done is we've changed some of the titles of things in the email, things that are going out, the wording that Google and those companies are monitoring for. But they also will automatically start to reduce the frequency of those emails. So if your lead has not looked at listings in, I think it's like 30 or 60 days, they reduce the frequency to just once a week. And then from there, another span of time comes. If they haven't engaged in any of those listings, they'll reduce it to every 2 weeks. So they'll still get those emails. And then today I was actually doing a session where I said, he was just active not long ago, so we're going to increase the frequency again, right? So we can see he's now back engaged, wanting the listing, so we're going to turn it back to daily, back to daily, back to daily, right? So it's also going to help to prevent leads from unsubscribing, right, as well. Yes. So if they're not engaging in those listings and they're just filling up their inbox and inbox and inbox, some people will unsubscribe. So here it helps to also reduce the amount of people unsubscribing because they're just getting bombarded with listing emails that they're not ready to take any action on.
I used to always find, up until COVID, and I think now we're going to start seeing it again, there would always be a period of time where a number of leads, not everybody, would kind of not open. So I always found after New Year's, vacation time, January, February, I would never freak out if I would see a number of leads not open, because a lot of leads are snowbirds, right? I always found in the month of July and beginning of August, more unopened than open every day, because people travel. So just because also you're seeing some unopened, it could literally be that people are on holidays. So really monitor it. Where I started seeing the pattern, and it took me a long time to figure out this pattern, is it was always the same months every year that I started seeing more unopened. And that's what caused me to go, oh, shoot, that's vacation time for most of us. That makes sense. The 2 years that we were in lockdown, that kind of all went by the wayfall. But I do think now you're going to start seeing that same pattern. So try not to stress too much. If you see sometimes in the summer, more unopened. I mean, listen, we open our email. We're realtors. We have to. Yeah. But most people who just have 9-to-5 jobs, their email really isn't a concern to them, right?
They may open it here and there. They're anticipating getting an email, so they're checking it, right? But everyone's different as to how active they are in their inboxes, for sure.
This is amazing. So I think our takeaway from today is, my best advice is start creating your systems, start creating a business plan for you to be able to do these leads. And remember, as we started, your response time is just as important as these leads getting listings every day from you. And you have to really coordinate a drip campaign, whether it's your own or whether it's one of Agent Locators, that you can still tweak if you want it to sound a little bit more like you. But those are my best advice. 2 weeks ago, we did a giveaway for a one-on-one coaching session with me. I think, Crystal, maybe we'll do another one. You guys can kind of behind the scenes for the next week. But, this is our job. And I thank everybody for coming. I think it's been awesome. I'd love to hear from you. I think the next time if we do another tell us your story.
And I think even too of like what you've done differently. Okay, what have you done for those of the campaigns? They don't have to share obviously everything that you've done or your exact campaign, I should say, but kind of what you've done and how you've built it out. Could be verbally just telling us, but also any like templated emails, like how Tara has created a templated email that she could quickly send off to somebody, just quickly edit it, send it off. For somebody that could be asking a question at a time she's not available to, or she just needs to go grab that information, right? So being responsive, those email templates are a great way to do that, because you can just quickly pull it up, boom, boom, send it off, then send and go back in and get all the information you need to do to actually respond to the question.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing is, you know, for me, the drip campaign that I use, the way that I work it, agent locator, you know, the email drip campaign, it's the template editor, it's all set up. You know, it's up to us to assign the campaign. We still do that manually because I still believe that I want to be in with my own eyes in each of these leads. But once you get the system working for you, it's not as much work as you think. It's just getting it all set up. But yeah, so we'll do a giveaway again in 2 weeks. Where, you know, I can kind of review some of your stuff. If you want to reach out to me and go, hey, Tara, what do you think of this email or that email? I'm here to help. I'm all about sharing. So let's get it. Let's continue to work together to get you guys converting.
They're happening now. Those leads are happening.
They're happening. Let's happy selling, everybody.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. Sabrina, they're just asking if they can call you. Just look at the neighborhood realty. You'll be able to find Tara.
Neighborhood realty. You can go on my website, thiscrazythingcalledleadgen.com. You can fill out a form, and certainly you can go on Tara Lee Real Estate. I think my cell phone's right there. But awesome. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tara. We'll connect.
All right.
And see you soon.
Thanks, Crystal. Bye, guys. Thank you.